Paramount Pictures. It's the Tom Leykis Show.
Am I still on the air?
And now, here he is, Tom Leykis.
Thank you for tuning into the Tom Leykis Show. This is where America gets together to talk about the issues you really care about. It's in every kind of a radio talk program. We're the radio talk show that is not hosted by a right-wing wacko or a convicted felon. No! I am your host. Write down our toll-free telephone number. You're going to need it. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. Thank you for tuning in. Thanks for being part of our program. Here we are together again on the radio. And here we are just 10 days? 10 days away. 10 days away for our next listener party. It's 10 days from today. It's Friday, June 15th. Many of you ask, when's our next listener party? Well, your father is coming to San Diego. This is the dad you never had. And we are coming back to Cane's on Mission Beach. That's going to be next Friday, June 15th. With our friends, of course, from 103.7 Free FM in San Diego. The doors open around 2. The show is from 3 to 7 San Diego time. Those of you who were at Cane's for our listener party last year know how outrageous it got. It's a 21 and over event. And by the way, Cane's is right on the beach. I want to tell you in advance, by the way, dress skimpily. Men and women both, because there's no air conditioning. You're on the beach, so we're depending on those ocean breezes. Although I must say that in Southern California this year, heat has not been a problem. This has been one of the lousiest springs on record. And certainly since I've been in Southern California, which is now 20 summers. This is the worst weather we've had. Cold. June gloom started in April. And it's continuing right into June. Just awful. So you'll probably be happy to be with that crush of bodies at Cane's on Mission Beach. Those of you who were there last year know that there was a line out the door that went on for so long that when we left, there was still a line to get in. People didn't know we were leaving. There was still a line to get in. That's how crazy it was. So we recommend you get there as early as possible. And we also recommend that just as we recommend you come there and dress skimpily so you'll be dressed beach appropriate. I would say beach appropriate would be good for this event. But also, if you are a SoCal 9 or a 10, and ladies, you know that the standards here are pretty damn high, and you would like to, of course, come backstage and hang out with the staff and management of the Tom Leykis Show, maybe get a ride in the limo later on, all you have to do is send us your photograph and show us how hot you really are. And Gary Zabransky, our producer, will be going through all of these, and he will pick a certain number of women to get in through the back door. Just send your photograph and a cell phone number to tom@blowmeuptom.com. That's tom@blowmeuptom.com. Send that in right now, and, again, it'll be the first few really hot chicks. They will be backstage with us. They will be in the VIP area. We'll probably have a few drinks for you, girls. But you have to be 21 or over. Now, remember, you girls who are planning on coming, this is not to bring your husband and surprise him for his birthday. It's not to bring your boyfriend. It's not to bring your best friend, your gay friend. It's hot chicks only. Hot chicks only. We're looking to stock the pond here is what we're looking to do, and that's just the way it is. So if you are going with your husband, he can stand in line by himself, or you can stand there with him, but he's not coming in the back door. Nor are any fat or fugly friends or gay friends or anybody really who is not a female 9 or a 10. That's what we're looking for. So, ladies, if you are a 9 or a 10 and you're looking to come to our show next Friday, June 15th at Cane's on Mission Beach, send us your photograph to Tom@blowmeuptom.com. It's Tom at blowmeuptom.com. And if you want details on our event next Friday, June 15th, the Friday before Father's Day, as the dad you never had comes to San Diego once again, all you need to do is go to blowmeuptom.com. All the details are there. All of them. All of them. Go to blowmeuptom.com for details. And we're looking forward to coming back to San Diego. That is going to be a killer event. Thank you so much for being part of the program. We appreciate it. Here we are on the lot at Paramount Pictures and enjoying the hell out of it. We are having a great time here. And look at this email I received here, and I think this person's onto something. This is Daniel. Daniel lives in Los Angeles. He just sent this to me today, and I was reading my email today. I'm like, he's onto something. It's a very good point he makes here. He says, Dear Tom, well, the beginning of the end has happened in America. The feminists have finally convinced many men that they are stupid. You know the study, Tom. More women are now enrolled in colleges than men. That's true, by the way. And some colleges have special recruiting programs designed to enroll young men into their ranks because male enrollment is now diminishing. That's true, too. Daniel goes on to say, somewhere and somehow many men are being convinced that they are no longer intelligent or productive. I find this result of men not seeking higher education to be both insulting and disgusting. This trend could become epidemic, and it would be an absolute tragedy if American men continue to allow themselves to be steered down a road that leads to oblivion. Every day, men are exposed to advertisements, TV programming, and other types of media outlets and should be appalled how men are depicted as clueless, stupid, bungling morons who can't function in normal society as fathers, boyfriends, or as independent thinking men. These degrading messages clearly have the stench of feminism providing the impetus. See, he looked up impetus when I said look it up. On the contrary, we men are proven to be capable and intelligent and should never lose sight of our monumental accomplishments. Don't succumb to the message that women are good and men are bad. I personally have never believed that behind every great man there is a great woman. I am now convinced that behind every man who has failed there is a nagging bitch who crushed his dreams. And by contrast, the great men have the ability to shut out or shut up their nagging bitches. That by itself is a monumental accomplishment, says Daniel. Thanks, Tom, for speaking on behalf of men everywhere. You may be an atheist, but you are preaching the gospel of men. Signed a new listener, Daniel. Well, Daniel, you make a very interesting point, and you've kind of pulled together some of the issues we've talked about separately here on the program. The fact that television portrays men as stupid and incompetent, as deadbeats, bad lovers, lousy caregivers, people who are not capable of doing housework, are not capable of asking for directions, are not capable of doing just about anything. Sitcoms, the primary plot on sitcoms where there's a married couple is that there's a fat, lazy guy with his super hot, intelligent, wisecracking wife. Right? That's pretty much the plot of a lot of these sitcoms. And the guy is a dope and the woman always is right. And we've been talking about this for some time now. The talk about how stupid men are and how women don't need men and what have you. But what Daniel has done here is he's tied together, and I think this is a legitimate connection. He's tied together the fact that we have beaten men and boys down in this country. And we have tried to imply somehow that girls are good and boys are bad, whether it be T-shirts that say boys are stupid, throw rocks at them or whatever. This has been going on now for a generation and a half in this country. And now it's showing itself in the attendance at colleges, where now there are more women in universities than men. That's true. More women go to college than men. The percentage of people in college is now a majority women. And, of course, on top of that, women have taken over the campus. You can't tell a dirty joke. You can't look funny at a woman. You can't say anything sexist. They'll have you in front of a tribunal of some kind. I mean, it's just outrageous. It's just outrageous. And so I think Daniel makes a very good point. It's time for men to stand up and say, you know what? We pay for everything, which we do. We're not deadbeats. Hell, in most cases, we bought her the car. We bought her the house. We pay the utilities. We pay the grocery bills. We pay for the gas for her car. We make her car payments. In many cases, we pay her student loan payments. We should not forget that we made just about everything possible. We invented almost every great product out there. You name the product, it's probably been invented by a man in most cases. And I think men in just 35 short years have accepted the idea that we are inferior, that our opinions don't count, that we're dopes, that we're incapable, that we're not worthy. And I do believe that Daniel makes a very good point here. You know, men put this whole thing together. Let's keep it together. Let's not fall apart now, boys. Let's remember that this country could not function without us. And I keep telling you, boys, stop at the trade schools and stop moving to be with your girlfriend who's going to college somewhere while you're not. I want you boys going to college. I want you guys getting degrees. I want you guys making the most money so you get the hottest chick in the end. So you have the nicest house in the end. So you have the most wealth in the end. Because God knows when you get divorced, you're not going to get any of these things. I'll tell you that right now. What are your thoughts on this?
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866.
Oh, you're so not nice.
I'm just honest.
I know. I love you for it.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Ah, yes. I know Dean J. D'Amelio will be glad to know that Tom Sizemore turned himself in. Dean, of course, the Perez Hilton of the Tom Leykis Show staff. Always scouring the internet looking for stuff like this. All right, 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. A listener named Daniel wrote in and made some very good points about why more women go to college than men. And it's because the effect, the cumulative effect all these years of men being told that they're inferior to women, they're unnecessary, women saying they're smarter, TV commercials saying they're smarter. Well, men have finally bought in. And you hear these dopes calling in, telling me they go into trade school, they dropped out of school for a few years to follow their girlfriends or whatever. And come on, boys. What's going on? Dave on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello, Father.
Son, how are you?
How are you?
Great.
Well, my story it's kind of funny you would bring up this subject, Tom, because it hit me when I heard it. I actually did have a girlfriend straight out of high school, and, she wanted to go off to college, and I wanted to go to college too, but she kind of wanted to go more, and she, kind of reeled me in to move in with her and to go live with her and kind of work while she goes to school. So I did this, not listening to your show, not really knowing, Tom, Leykis 101. I was a boy. And, she sucked everything out of me, basically.
So you gave up college?
I gave up college. I didn't go. I became one of these guys that, was just working for his woman and was basically supporting her, man.
So she had you paying for everything.
Basically, pretty much. Come to find out, she was cheating on me with some other guy at school. Because
she had no respect for you.
Exactly. So I just said, you know what? One day, one of my friends, one good friend named Art out there in L.A. told me, you know what, bro? Listen to the Tom Leykis Show. Turn it on. And I turned it on, and you were hitting points, man, that you were talking to me. You were telling me step by step by step what I was doing wrong. And you know what? I'll be first to say that whoever's out there listening, this guy is telling the truth, man. He's preaching. I want you to know that after I listened to your show for a couple of weeks, I left that bitch, moved my stuff out, got my own place, went back to school, and I'm going to graduate in about a year and a half.
Very nice. Very nice.
So,
Very good.
You know what? I got to thank you for that. No BS. You're the real deal. I can't thank you enough. You know, I got I'm preaching your word, man. I got my buddies trying to listen to the Tom Leykis Show, and they're loving it.
By the way, how did she react when you dumped her?
Oh, man. You know what? That's the funniest part. She was crying and all sad. And, you know, even after the fact that I told her, you know what, I found out about this other guy, she still had the nerve to kind of, you know, she was pulling me in again, you know, kind of making me feel sorry for her. But in my little head, I had like a little Tom talking in my head saying, don't do it. Don't be stupid. And pretty much just left and said, you know what? You're a bitch. Here's your dude. You know what? Do what you got to do. Come to find out now from friends, she's not doing so good. She dropped out of school, and now she's trying to get a rich guy to marry.
Of course she is.
You know? So the best thing I can tell people out there is, you know, hey, you're doing the real deal. Boys, you know what? I was a boy one time because I think everyone has to go through it. But if you listen to Tom, you don't have to go through that misery. Listen to me. I'm telling you, you can better yourself. You know, guys out there, come out of high school, go to college, do your thing, be somebody in life, and watch how these girls just come at you. Right now, I'm in school. I'm almost graduating. I got ass left and right. I'm single. I'm loving it, and there's nothing better than not having a bitch right beside you. I'm loving it, Tom. I'm loving it. It's not even funny. It's crazy ass left and right.
Dave, I am proud, and I thank you for that call. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Let's say hello here to John on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, Tommy.
Hey, Johnny.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing great, baby.
All right, right on, man. Hey, I listen to you every day on the way home from work. Love what you have to say every day. I appreciate everything you've done, man.
Thank you for that.
Yeah. Hey, I want to let you know, I graduated high school 2004. When I was a freshman in high school, I took a career guidance class. Basically, the teacher was very upfront with us, told us this, what you're talking about right now on your show, that women are more acceptable into college just because of the fact that men, when they're younger, they get pushed on to sports more so.
Uh-huh.
And they were told that, you know, be good at sports, progress, and be a famous athlete. But you know what? Coming out of our high school, we had, 1%, 1 or 2 people, I should say, become a professional athlete. And this is the kind of thing that, you know, it kind of pisses me off because when I came out of high school, I never went to college. I went to work right away because of the negativity from our teachers about this situation right here.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is not just coming from you and the internet and the news. This is coming from teachers in high school.
That's outrageous.
That are saying these things. And you know, this is the first time I've ever called in. I'm glad I was able to talk about this subject because to me, I have a couple of smart friends that went on to college and did their thing. But the ones that were the lower skill, that weren't college material, went off, we all got construction jobs. And now we're sweating every day. And
yeah, of course.
Every day. Yeah.
And getting bossed around by the women who got their college degrees.
Exactly. And, you know, I got an ex-girlfriend who's in Minnesota right now becoming a doctor. You know, just because she was told she was smart and she got all the good grades and what have you. But unless a guy's good at a sport, you know, that's the way that they put it. Basically in high school. And I totally agree with you on this, Tom. Honestly, this is a great subject to talk about, man. This is totally, you know, above the what you usually do talk about. And I like this, man. I like what you're doing right here, buddy. Keep it going.
Thank you. Give Daniel credit because he's the guy who really pieced this all together. I got to give that listener credit. Thank you for the call. David on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello, David.
Yeah, Tom?
Yes, sir.
Hey, what's going on? I kind of got like the same story going on that happened to me about 6 years ago. You know, straight out of high school, Lori, you got to turn it off. Straight out of high school, I was going to college. I was going to be one of those graphic designers. I was like all into it. I was doing real good in school. I was about halfway into one of those colleges, and I wasn't listening to your show, wasn't following at the time. I was young. I didn't know about the show, and my girlfriend at the time ends up getting pregnant.
Oh, God.
Yeah, one of those. If I would have listened to your story back then, you know, it would have been a different story. You know.
Why did you let that? Why did you let that happen?
I was young, dumb, and I didn't pay attention to anything. I was doing my own thing. You know, didn't have any a dad like you to tell me, hey, you know, watch your, you know what.
Yeah.
You know, something like that, and I took a break. You know, I went to the administrators and told them, hey, you know,
which is, by the way, the worst thing to do.
Mm-hmm. I told them, you know what, I'm going to take just like a 3-month break because I need to save up money. I want to come back to school. They said, okay, fine. Okay, we'll stop taking the payments from your loan company. We'll when you come back, it's fine. You're good to go. Just come back in the papers. Well, okay, I did that. I took off school for a while. Right away, I got me a full-time job and started saving money and buying stuff. Well, when I was starting to get my stuff together to go back to school, I go in. They tell me, okay, you know, I go in my first class. I get my first schedule. Then I get sent to the administrator's office. They're like, please come to financial services, actually. I go over there. They're like, oh, well, we haven't got a payment from you in 3 months. I'm like, well, I had this paper signed, blah, blah. Well, come to find out, they were still taking the money from the loan company.
Yeah, so again, you know, when I say taking time off is the worst thing to do, you found it out the hard way. And so ultimately, what have you done? Did you finish college?
No, that's one thing. They wouldn't let me go back. And after I tried to go back, they wanted me to sort these things out. And since I'm the first one, you know, I mean, I have my parents co-signed for me. Or no. Actually, you know what? They didn't. So everything was under my name because I started when I was 18.
All right, let's not try to get too far off track here. We're talking about how your girl got pregnant and now you're out of school. And by the way, did she have the baby?
Yeah, she had the baby. There's no way she was not going to keep it. And, I mean, I wasn't listening to you. If I would have known what I know now, what I could have done, I would have done it. But, you know, now here I am paying for it. I'm starting to get back on track, but it's taken me 6 years. I got a little girl, of course. I'm in debt. About 20 grand, that does not go down, and it does not go away in a bankruptcy. I've tried any other way. My credit's screwed. Yeah,
you can't get away from a student loan by filing bankruptcy anymore. They changed the laws on that.
Yeah, exactly. I found that I was looking into that. I was like, you know what, I'm going to scratch it out, start all over, and maybe go to another school or, you know, figure something out. Well, there's no way that's coming off. As soon as I tried, they said, you know what, it's not coming off. It's student loan, it's government. You have to do that. You have to pay it off. Well, like a few years back, I got my income tax check. I was waiting for it. I was getting a good chunk of change, about $3,600. Waiting for the check in the mail. Instead of the check in the mail, I got a letter saying that thank you for paying, you know, the student loan company, blah, blah. It's a government loan. They took it.
Yep, that's what they do.
So now no matter what, I'm paying for it, and it's the amount does not go down. It started at $20,000, what I owe, and I just looked at my credit. And it's showing that I owe them $23,000 when they just took $3,600 from me.
Well, they're adding interest to it. And do you even know what interest rate you're paying? Probably not.
I don't.
Why? By the way, why don't you know that?
Well, because last time I talked to them, since then the school moved and they changed the. I guess the loan company went to.
Irrelevant. Why don't you know how much interest you're paying on that loan?
Because when I signed it, I just wanted to go to school.
Why don't you find out how much interest you're paying on the loan? Aren't you curious?
Yeah, I am, actually.
Why don't you do? Why do you need me to tell you this? Why do you need me to tell you this? You're still a pussy. Why do you need me to tell you this?
You don't. I need to do it on my own.
But you didn't.
Yeah, exactly. All this over a kid, you know?
But that's not why you don't know how much interest you're paying. You don't know because you don't want to know.
Well, I guess you're true. You're right there, you know? Like usually are,
all you know is that the amount keeps going up, but you don't even know why. You might be paying 30% interest. You don't even know.
Yeah, that's true.
And you're not even curious enough to find out on your own because you're afraid to find out the answer.
You got me there.
Damn straight I do.
Tom Leykis. 1-800-5800-TOM.
We want what you have. Boom. But you want what we have. Money, power. So our job is to withhold that from you.
Are you trying to turn the men into gold diggers then? Is that what you mean?
No, not quite. We're poon diggers.
The Tom Leykis Show.
The Tom Leykis Show. From Hollywood at 1-800-5800-TOM. That is our telephone number. T on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Good evening, Sensei.
Good evening, dear.
How are you tonight?
Do you care, darling?
Absolutely.
Doing great.
Great, me too. So, I was listening to your show, as usual, and I was listening to you talk about how there are more women in college than there are men, which, like you said, is very true. However, there was an article done recently, and unfortunately I can't remember the stat, but I remember it was more than half. Many of the women that are in college today do not intend to actually utilize the power behind their degree. Many of them are holding on to traditional values. Even though they're in school, they still have the idea that, okay, when I graduate, I'm going to go on to marry this great catch who's going to let me stay at home and raise my kids. So I'm kind of wondering who looks more stupid. These men who unfortunately are not attending school, or these females who are going really kind of so as to waste their time.
There was a story just the last couple of days about how many women go to college and have no intention of using their degrees for anything. They don't make more money than their husbands. They meet men and ultimately choose careers where they will make less money than the men they're with.
This is true, and that's why I had to call you, because I hear you saying this in a manner in which it's almost like women are putting themselves in position to try to be better than men. But in all actuality, that's not true. You have so many women who, I'm 32, and even in my time, you were raised with the whole Cinderella syndrome. You know, we're supposed to seek Prince Charming, have a wonderful wife, have a wonderful life with all the great kids and the great comforts that he provides. So I honestly, I feel more sorry for these women who are investing all this time, who could do better, but are really just looking to kind of sit at home and have him be their meal ticket.
Many of them are looking for the MRS degree.
I'm sorry?
Many of them are looking to get their MRS.
Any degree, if you're pursuing a degree, you're going on for your higher education, to me, you should try to do something with that.
You've never heard of the MRS degree, huh?
I have heard of the MRS degree.
Oh, just making sure.
And actually, I think it's the most silly degree, but I'm just that type of woman, so I won't condemn anybody else who wants that degree. But I'm just saying, if you're going to do something, if you're going to put your time into a higher education, actually do something with that. You know, I honestly, a lot of women may not see that men are being demonized in the media. I certainly didn't. And I actually asked my man, do you feel this way? Yes, he does.
Well, I understand what you're saying, T. You make a lot of good points, and I thank you for that. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. Sumit, you're on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom. How are you?
I'm great.
Tom, I was listening to your show earlier, and you did mention that most of the sitcoms and most of the soap operas are showing, like, men are more becoming like a wuss or like a wimp under women.
Yes.
But I also wanted to tell you that this is not an American syndrome because I'm from India, and I moved to U.S. like 3 years ago. And even in Indian soap operas, they show the same thing. I see like all the housewives and all the girlfriends making the big decisions that men should be taking or that men could be taking. But for some reason, they always show that women take the major decisions. In fact, there was this one serial where like a 9-year-old or a 10-year-old girl was taking like big decisions in her life for the whole family.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
Wow. Well, I hate to hear that that's a worldwide phenomenon, but it could very well be true. Vanessa on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Great.
That's good. You know, I was just buzzing in, you know, and I half agree with what you're saying and everything, but, you know, to these guys that are basically saying that they're not going to college because their girlfriends told them to, they honestly shouldn't be blaming their girlfriends or their ex-girlfriends because they could have made that decision on their own, you know, whether or not they wanted to go to college. If the girl told them, you know, stay at home, I'll go to college, you work, you know, we'll rent an apartment or whatever, and they decided to go to college, that's on them. They could have easily said, no, I'm going to go to school because I want to.
Yeah, but you understand, first of all, this has something to do with socializing. We now have adult men who over the years grew up. They were raised by single mothers or they were raised in divorced homes. And they grew up hearing this message for 20 years. That men are inferior, men are stupid, men are pigs, men are dogs, men are deadbeats, men are useless, women don't need men. They've been hearing this over and over since they were babies. And so, yes, obviously, ultimately, you have to blame the person who has done the wrong thing. But let's face it, we are now raising men as pussies.
Yeah, and I think that's why they should honestly, like, step up. Like, you know, with me, with my boyfriend.
They don't know how to step up. They've been raised by women. And they've been raised by bitter women who got divorced and who told their boys that men are creeps. And they told their boys their dads are creeps. And then they told their boys to pee sitting down.
That could be true. I mean, I'm not saying it could be true. It most likely is for a lot of people. But it's like, you know, when I see, it's like my sister, you know, she had a deadbeat boyfriend, and thankfully she jumped him. But it's like, you know, she's looking at her son and everything, and she's encouraging her son, you know, be better, you know, do better for yourself. She's not telling him don't be like your dad, because, well, that would kind of, you know, he's trying to look up to his father at the same time. But,
There's a lot of that going on. There's a lot of women saying your dad's a creep, your dad's a pig, your dad's an idiot, your dad's an a-hole.
Yeah, she's avoiding saying that in front of her kids.
Well, guess what? A lot of women don't avoid saying that in front of their kids. That is why you have this problem throughout the country. We're not looking at individuals that you know. We're looking in general here. And in general, this is the reason you have men go into trade schools or dropping out of school to go follow their girlfriends who are going to college.
I get what you're saying.
And this is the result you get.
That's true.
Yeah, it is true. She collapsed like a house of cards. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. This is Trey on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Great.
Hey, yeah, man, I heard about, you know, the percentages about, you know, men not attending college. And I'm an African-American man, and I'm 22 years old. So imagine, you know, men not already going to college. It's already like black dudes like me not going to college. Like, I go to school right now. Like, when I walk around, like, the first thing chicks ask me, oh, what sport do you play? You know what I'm saying? And I just laugh at them because I'm like, I'm not here. You know, I don't play sports. You know, I'm a computer programming engineering. You know, that's what I'm going for. And right now, you know, I'm about to be graduating next year, Tom. But I had to call you on because I was dating this chick, man, and, like, this chick was one of the type of chicks. She was really hot, but she already had her life planned for her. Her parents both had money. She had a lame job at H&M, some clothing store. You know, it really didn't do nothing with her life. But it was like the soap opera shows and like the TV shows. Every time I said something, it was stupid. Every time I wanted to do something, oh, that's stupid. But, you know, I finally got tired of dealing with it because I've been listening to you, Tom, and I just dumped her, dude.
How'd that feel? How did that feel?
I get more ass than... I don't even know what to do no more. I get more cheeks, Tom, and it's just ridiculous. Like I said, I'll be telling all my friends, like, y'all need to go to college, dude. Like, this is like free, like, coons just running around campus. You know what I'm saying, Tom?
That's absolutely true.
Man, and Tom, it's like crazy. And this girl, she's just always putting me down, just like the TV show, Tom. And I was like, you know what? I wasn't going to school. Like, right when I graduated from high school, I didn't go to school, but I just started listening to you, and I was like, man, I got to make something of myself. So I just started going to school, and that's when it seemed like she started dissing me even harder when I was going to school. And then when I broke up with her, it's like she still calls me to this day. Tom asks me, what am I doing? Who am I doing this with? And sometimes I am kind of stupid because I take her calls, Tom, but I can just tell, like, she spites me so much when I can just hear it in her voice, you know what I'm saying? And I just love it, Tom, and I just got to thank you. Like I said, man, to all the dudes out there go to school, but all the black dudes out there, like, y'all got to get in school, man. Y'all got to want to be something to yourself, man. Like, I listen to you, Tom, every day, and I envy you. You drive around in your Lexus, drive to the house in the Hollywood Hills, Tom, I envy that. I want to be your next door neighbor someday. You
should be my next door neighbor.
You know what I'm saying? Like, Tom, like, and I'm a black dude, and I love you, Tom. You know what I'm saying? Like, I preach you to everybody. I preach you to my mom, my sister. They hate me because I know you, and they just hate you. But I'm going to always listen to you, Tom, and no matter what, you're going to always have a black son right here, man.
Trey, I'm very proud of you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Tom. I appreciate this, man. Hey, can you blow me up, Tom?
Of course I can. 1-800-5800-TOM is our telephone number. Nikki on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi, Nikki.
First time, long time.
Thank you.
I just want to say that I agree with everything you say, and I really appreciate everything you're doing for the men out there, because it seems like there are so many women going to college, but I feel like I work for a debt management company, and the majority of my clients are these young men who are working in some type of trade job, and they have girlfriends living with them, and I always ask them, you know, is your girlfriend contributing to the household? And he says, no, she's going to school.
Oh, boy.
So here I have clients, these young men, anywhere between the ages of 18 to 20 years old, who are, you know, they're supporting themselves with credit cards, and they're doing all of this because they're supporting their girlfriends while they're going through school. So I agree with what you're saying, and I think that men deserve a lot more credit than what they get. I'm married, so I mean, of course, I don't really apply to a lot of things you say, but you know, I was one of the lucky ones who got into a good marriage, but you know, women don't want to contribute what they should, and they want to be treated like princesses. They're so into the fact that, you know, men are supposed to be the Prince Charming, and they're supposed to be treated like a princess, and they don't have to do anything for it. But if women would take care of their men the way that they should, then they might be treated with more respect. But men just, you know, they get treated like crap all the time, and women expect so much more out of men than they should.
You are certainly right about that. Thank you for that. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. That's our telephone number. Richard on the Tom Leykis Show. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
Great.
You guys are talking about men being demoralized and demonized, I mean, in the media.
Yeah.
And I live in San Diego, and at every holiday, the CHP puts out an ad saying that they're going to be cracking down on drunk drivers. I don't know if you've ever seen it.
I hear these ads all the time.
I don't know if you watch the one that's on the TV. Every one of the individuals they pull over for drunk driving is a man. And
of course.
Every one of them is about 25, 30 years old.
It's not women like the one in Billings, Montana, who offered to show her boobs to the cop, right?
It's only men. And as a matter of fact, out of everybody that I know that has ever had a problem with DUI, all of them are women, actually. Not saying that no men do that, but every single one of them is a woman. But
yeah, my experience has been it's about half and half, but it certainly is not all men or even a majority men.
But if you see that commercial, all of them are men in that. So that's exactly a case in point.
I hate hearing that, Richard, but I totally believe you, and I thank you for the call. You may have some opinions about this. If you couldn't get in, our email address is my name. It's tom@blowmeuptom.com. That's tom@blowmeuptom.com. And ladies, if you're a 9 or a 10 and you're planning on meeting us in San Diego next Friday, send your photo and your cell phone number to tom@blowmeuptom.com.
The Tom Leykis Show.